So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to the second panel discussion with senior ADB colleagues who will give a quick overview of ADB sectors and will share their insights on strategic sectoral priorities working under the new operating model. So may I request the members of the panel, the panelists, can you join me here on stage, please? So may I request Tariq Niatsi, Shifeng Zhang, Shanti Jagannathan, Hiroaki Yamaguchi, Andrew Jeffries, and Noiro Saito. Before I do the honor of introducing each and every one of you, are we complete? Okay. So first is Tariq, Shifeng, Shanti, Hiroaki, Andrew, and Norio. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the members of the panel. Tariq Niatsi, Senior Director, Public Sector Management and Governance. Next is Shifeng Zhang, Senior Director, Agriculture, Food, Nature, and Rural Development. Shanti Jagannathan, Principal Education Specialist and Officer in Charge for the Education Practice Team of Sectors Group Human and Social Development. Hiroaki Yamaguchi, Senior Director for Transport. Andrew Jeffries, Just Energy Transition Program. And Norio Saito, Senior Director, Water and Urban Development. On this particular discussion, there will be only one and the same question to be raised to everyone, and will be briefly answered in 5 minutes. The monitor is in front of you. And then, by the way, for whoever wants to raise a question, you may want to raise it in the Events Air app, and then we will read it after the first segment of them answering the question. Now, the question is, can you give an overview of the sector you represent and your insights on respective strategic sectoral priorities working under the new operating model? Tariq? Do
I need to go there?
No, that's okay. Just sit there.
Thank you very much. I'm Tariq Niazi. I'm the Senior Director of Public Sector Management and Governance Sector Group. With the new operating model, what we have done is to try to bring more specialization within the sector and also to have more collaborative opportunities. What we do in the sector is macro-fiscal policies. That is our mainstay. As part of this policy, there are two strands of our engagement. One is doing the regular structural reform programs in countries, and second is responding to urgent economic assistance requests due to pandemic, due to conflicts, or due to crisis. That is done through various modalities, policy-based programs and results-based program. These are our main mode of engagement with the countries. Though we provide lots of financing to countries under these two strands, and I'll give a bit more detail, we do not really have very many investment projects, though we have quite a few technical assistance projects, and there's where we need consulting expertise. There are four main areas that we have refined and defined under NOM. It's domestic resource mobilization, which includes tax policy, tax administration, then public financial management, which will include public debt management, fiscal risk management, and expenditure rationalization. Third would be the SOE reforms that we do at the corporate level, and also we look at them from the fiscal perspective. And finally is the economic diversification that includes improving business climate, investment climate, and working on these areas. With the introduction of NOM, and also even before that, the two important focus areas that will form part of all our engagements is the climate change. We will have components related to climate change in each of our projects. And second is digitalization. That is one major thrust going forward as part of the NOM. And we have quite a few areas that lend themselves to digitalization. It's setting up of financial management information systems at the level of the government. That is the whole budget cycle, the public financial management processes of a government. Then digitalization of tax administration. Also, as part of SOEs and otherwise too, we work on improving public service delivery, and this is another area that lends itself to more automation and digitalization. Thank you very much. I'll stop here.
Thank you, Tariq. Shipeng?
Thank you so much for inviting us to attend this very important session. I am the Qingfeng Zhang, Senior Director for Agricultural, Food, Nature and the Rural Development Sector Office for the ADB. Taking this opportunity to answer the question, I want to focus on two areas. One is the sector structure, another is our sector priorities. After the new operating model, FNR sector law, we consulted what have over 100 specialists. We established 6 teams. 2 teams will focus on the region. One region is for Central Asia and South Asia. One region is for the East Asia, Southeast Asia, and also Pacific areas. They deal with the country relations, country partnership, and so on and so forth. Another 2 practice areas. We have the 2 practice areas. One is a focus on natural capital climate, and another is a focus on emerging area, focus on technology, financial transformation, and so on and so forth. And then we have the one team very much focused on agribusiness from the private sector operations. And finally, we have the one team focused on knowledge management, partnership, innovations, and so on and so forth. So this is a new operating model. Enable the team work together without the regional barrier, and also they support our countries more effectively. Come to the second dimension, talking about the sector priorities. The sector, we focus on support food security, integrated river basin management, natural capital investment, and also the rural development in the entire region. Probably if you look at the title, you know agricultural rural development is a quite conventional areas we are focused on it, but probably I focus on 3 key items I want to highlight, and also the briefing the greater opportunity for us to work together. In terms of the portfolio, we have 177 projects, over $12 billion in terms of the active project. And then this team, while leading ADB's food security ambition, which announced last year, $14 billion US, started from there 2022 and 2025. So out of this $14 billion US, last year we delivered $3.7 billion US, and this year we have the $3.5 billion US. Still, next few years, we work on the $7 billion US for food security. Second, I want to share this team also work on the natural capital investment. So like the forest, like the water conservation, like ocean resilience, like wetland protection and so on and so forth. This is related to the COP15 on the biodiversity conservation natural capital investment. We built up $2.3 billion US for next 5 years. The third part, this team really is working on integration of sovereign operation and also private sector investment. Very much focused on agribusiness development, FI investing in the agricultural value chain, and also digital transformation. So again, the agricultural trade, food safety, and so on and so forth. So those new areas is also we're going to scale up our investment. Again, FI in our sector is as with a new operating model. One is we need to continue to support our traditional area like irrigation, agricultural production. But another one is use this new operating model also explore like the natural capital investment, food system transformation, very much looking at the area to scale up our investment in the climate change. We have a great opportunity with work with the WAV U, particularly from the consulting company and also the contractors for the next few years. Let me just pause here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now may I call on Shanti?
Thank you. I represent the human and social development sector, and that is a new formation after NORM. It comprises health, education, and social protection. Before NORM, there were 3 distinct categories of sectors in which ADB operations were implemented, although they were kind of grouped under the operations priority 1. But after NORM, there is much more purposeful and determined coming together of these 3 sectors as we go forward in our operations. Can I have a show of hands on how many of you are representing or interested in the education, health, and social development? Wow. Great. Happy to know that, really happy to know that. Just want for the regional departments. So Southeast Asia and Pacific comes together in one grouping. East Asia and Central West Asia comes together in another grouping, and South Asia is the third. And within the sectors group, there are 3 practice teams under HSD, which is obvious, like education, health, and social protection. So I will mention 3 points that might be of interest in thinking about future work in the context of HSD. The first is, like already mentioned by the speakers, around digital transformation and the climate change, which are like really overriding priorities of ADB under NORM and otherwise. So we look for bank-wide kind of strategies and vision for how this will impact on and influence our knowledge work and operations in the 3 sectors, looking at the 3 sectors together. The second one being to promote more actively, like combined knowledge work and operations that bring education, health, and social protection. While these or some of the projects will continue in the way that we've done in the past, working with education institutions and so on, we expect that there will be more interest and opportunities for bringing these sectors together. For instance, in the context of health and social health and education, it refers to medical education, skills for the care economy, nursing education. So we will be doing more of these deliberate combined operations. And when it comes to social protection, how education skills combined with policies and programs for employment, for active labor market policies, and also social protection systems and assistance programs going forward, whether it's for gig economy workers or more broadly, how to strengthen employment policies and social protection policies for the workforce. So these are like obvious connectors, which we think that we will do more of as we go forward. The third area is around strengthening ADB's work as a solutions bank, how we can align our knowledge work, our regional policy research, and also how we offer technical assistance and support to our partner countries and our member countries on how these sectors can be visualized as a joint kind of endeavor to increase impact on human and social development. So HSD and how these three pillars can really impact by converging together, and how we can offer knowledge solutions. And to that end, we would also, in addition to consulting opportunities, we would also be looking to see institutional twinning arrangements, bringing peer-to-peer learning and G2G kind of interlinkages as well, facilitated through technical assistance programs, but also in the context of operational support. Thank you for being here today, and look forward to collaborating with some of you.
Thank you, Shanti. I've noticed that a lot of people raised their hands on this sector. Maybe later we will ask them who amongst them are interested in your particular sectors. Next one, Hiroaki.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us here. Okay, so how we are now working under this new operating model. Before that, actually, we already had the mandate for climate shift. Actually, now we are being told to do more climate. But the thing is actually, as you may know, Paris Agreement is 2015. So around that time or before, we already initiated to do certain action to change. That's a climate shift. For example, 2000 or 2010, around that time, our portfolio transport, road subsector dominates 80%. Now, actually, 2023, thanks to some major railway and then bus projects of those, now road subsector constitutes 55%. So that already over 20 years of those, we are shifting to that climate shift already. Now, again, still we need to do more. That's giving us the opportunity using this new operating model. So where the opportunity will be, to make it a major shift, actually, we try to target opportunities missing out in the past. One is the railway and logistics areas. And then also another one is the smart mobilities. That includes the e-mobility and then digitization, etc. So those two areas that we often missed out because it may take time and then requires lots of dialogue with the clients, and then also requires expertise from the private sector, from you. So that kind of challenges we try to address using this opportunity. So the new model provides transport sector office having the two distinct teams. One is the railway logistics team, and then also the smart mobility team. Both are headed by a director. There are still continuously with this region-based unit, which works for any projects, but focusing on certain regions like South Asia, Southeast, and then Central West, etc. So we continuously having that as a single window to deal with the client liaison or etc. And then also understanding where about the procurement system in the countryside and then the restrictions or opportunities there. So we work on that. So what we try to do is actually expanding those missing opportunities where also incidentally all the client governments also wants us or expect ADB to help to expand those areas. So that fits the mindset. And also I'm sure those are contractors, consultants also having a lot of expertise in these areas, and then they seeking opportunities from ADB side. So details actually coming up on the transport sector session today or tomorrow, I forgot. So that one you can discuss more. But again, under this new operating model for transport sector specific, actually those two areas are really highlighted. Railway logistics, as you may know, there's a climate shift already there, expecting the modal shift from the roads, vehicular traffics. And then also the private sector expectation on the certain technology on these logistics centers, etc. And then smart mobility also, we have to work together with the energy sector or maybe finance, those to promote electrification of vehicles of those, and even including the e-locos, etc. So that part we are working together. So that's another new operating model, a unique feature that we work together in a cross-sectoral approach. Even the railway project, we have to consider a transit-oriented development together with the urban sector and also the finance sector. So, and then rural road projects, we require work with the agriculture sector on the more bigger value chain, the frameworks of those. And then when you talk about the e-mobility, of course, this demand creation, the awareness to the supplier or service provider, etc., and then the people's understanding on the benefits on the e-vehicles, etc., that works with awareness on the education sector. So those kind of, we work together, sitting together, talking this way always. So that's actually how we work under the new operating model. Yeah, I stop here.
Thank you, Hiroaki. Now let's hear it from the Just Energy Transition Program. Andrew.
Good afternoon, everyone. So to follow on to what my colleagues have said regarding how our energy sector is now set up under this new operating model. Similar to some of the other sectors, we have regional teams. We have the Southeast Asia and the Pacific as one team, South Asia as a second, and then we have Central West and East Asia as a third. And then we have practice teams, emerging areas and energy transition. So the upstream work it tends to be done by these emerging areas where the kind of project investment level work is more done by the regional teams. But the whole point of this new model is the resources can flow much more smoothly in between. So there's a lot of overlap and collaboration and people from various teams working on projects in other regions. For example, if you are an expert in one particular hydropower, for example, and you happen to be in the Southeast Asia and Pacific team, but there's a project in South Asia or Central West, maybe you'll be called to provide expertise for that. Excuse me. The emerging areas, that's integrated cross-sectoral solutions, and productive uses of renewable energy, including e-mobility, e-shipping, water supply, nature-based solutions, renewable energy, cold storage for agriculture. So that would be kind of cross-sectoral work done with some of our colleagues' teams. There's also exploring new innovative technologies, hydrogen, ocean energy, creating the enabling environment for the private sector, regulatory reforms, and areas to unlock, say, private investment in power generation, renewable power generation through supporting grid enhancement, battery energy storage systems, and the like. And then there's also, state-owned enterprise corporate sustainability reforms that are needed in a number of our regions. Energy transition work, that includes our support for these Just Energy Transition partnerships. There's 2 of those in Southeast Asia. And then the Energy Transition Mechanism, which is a program that utilizes accesses concessional and commercial capital from both public and private sources to incentivize the early retirement of coal-fired power generation or other fossil fuel intensive power generation, and then simultaneously unlock more investments in cleaner energy sources, grid enhancement to accommodate those sources, energy storage, and the like. So regarding strategic priorities, again, as we've pivoted to become the region's climate bank, of course, I guess confronting the climate change challenge and facilitating a just low-carbon transition in our developing member countries is, I think, the primary focus. This involves common as well as differentiated approaches across the country, integrated energy planning. Our support to implement these transitions, again, will support sector-wide planning, project investment, enabling environment support, and of course our energy transition and ETM or energy transition mechanism work. We also seek to expand and support demand-side management, energy efficiency, and address the demand side of the equation and not just kind of the supply side. Support for digitalization and smart power grids and power systems to address the increased complexity of power delivery systems given the new renewable energy technologies that are taking shape. Leveraging advanced clean energy technologies and commercial financing is also just a key priority. And in coordination with our transport colleagues, urban and other sectors is another kind of priority on how to better integrate and provide solutions, not just narrowly within the energy sector, but how they overlap with the other sectors that we cover at ADB. So thanks very much. That's all I have.
Thank you, Andrew. Ladies and gentlemen, before I call on Noiro, if you have questions, please raise it via Events Air app. And if you want to, please indicate the name. To whom would you like to address your question? All right. For the last one, let's hear about the water and urban development, Norio Saito.
Yeah. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I represent the Water and Urban Development Sector Office. We handle various subsectors: water supply, sewage, sanitation, urban flood management, solid waste management, but also affordable social housing and sustainable tourism. So in terms of strategic sectoral priorities, I think our key word is low carbon, resilient, water secure, and livable cities and towns. So how do we achieve it? I can maybe mention 3 points that we want to further strengthen. One is about urban planning or spatial planning. So this is one area that ADB has not been really focusing so much on. But in order for cities and towns to become more resilient and low carbon, then further work on this urban planning, spatial planning to support developing more compact cities, more resilient cities. That is really an essential part. Second part is circular economy. When we talk about wastewater management, we should talk about how this wastewater can be reused for agricultural, industrial, or other purposes. And of course, solid waste management, we always need to pay attention how the recycle can be promoted or resources can be recovered. And the third point is municipal resource mobilization, which can be done through collection of tariff, taxes, or other charges. This is really important to strengthen the financial sustainability of the assets that we help build, but also to help make cities more creditworthy so that they can leverage more private sector financings as well. Because public sector financing alone should not be enough, would not be certainly enough to build the cities that are low carbon and resilient. And I think a cross-cutting issue is whatever we work on, then we want to offer integrated solutions. Integration means maybe water and sanitation can be integrated, waste management and urban flood management, those are closely linked. but also supporting gray infrastructure with blue or green infrastructure, or like infrastructure development associated with policy regulatory improvement. So those kind of various types of integration is possible, but we want to offer better solutions to solve the client needs and demands. In terms of NOM, I think this new operating model is really about specialization and client orientation. Because as some colleagues mentioned, we have more flexibility in assigning or allocating staff resources or technical assistance resources. Depending on the needs of our clients or depending on the specific needs of the clients, we can flexibly deploy staff from one team to another so that we can address on the client's immediate issues. So that kind of approach will help us. And also this will help knowledge sharing or cross-learning across the regions so that staff can have experience from other regions as well or learn better international best practices which can be applied to our clients. So in terms of specialization, in our sector office, we have 3 regional teams, but we also have emerging areas team which really specializing in housing, affordable housing, sustainable tourism.
All right. It's good to know that we have received a lot of questions, but we have limited time, so maybe I can raise 2 questions. Let's see. To Mr. Tariq, can you please elaborate more on the initiatives undertaken for digitalization of service delivery?
Yeah, thank you. So this would be context by context basis within the country, within the sector that this is being done. I can give you a couple of examples that what we have been trying to do related to our trade and competitiveness programs. These are single window operations that require all the processes to be unified first and then automated so that there is not a lot of transaction time for the end user, and it is a simplified process. Many countries in our region, from smaller countries, I'll give the example of Georgia and Azerbaijan that have put in place such systems, and where we have been also working with the governments. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for the transport, let's move on to the transport group. That's to Hiroaki. Will the transport group focus on promoting non-motorized transportation in urban cities? If yes, could you explain more? Another one. Along with the mobility, are we also looking at the active mobility as sustainable mobility solution?
Yes. Mobility itself actually includes everything. So one area is the what we focus more on the public sector, public transport systems like buses, those. But that definitely includes how the active transport be integrated in there. So that's where exactly we work together with the urban units, where the expertise there on the more holistic, the urban planning or the urban development pictures there. So yes, answer is yes, that is considered. And then we are working on that. And then especially for public transport project, bus systems project, we often include those considerations. Yes.
Thank you. Let's move on to Andrew on energy. Question from Resham Dakal, CEO, SMEC India. What is the priority on biogas and green energy in NOM?
I guess we don't have a kind of priority technology or solution. I think the appropriate technology or solution is very either country specific or locational specific. So very happy to support biogas if that's the applicable low cost and viable, long-term viable solution. One issue with biogas is just the reliable, steady supply of the biofuel and to produce that. But we don't have a priority of just a short answer of one over the other. That could be very, very applicable in some locations and the perfect solution, and there may be much more lower cost or more readily available solutions elsewhere.
Thank you, Andrew. Actually, I'm so elated that I have received a lot of to Shifeng. How ADB integrate biodiversity conservation into rural development, and what consultancy services do your sector need most? How ADB integrate biodiversity conservation into rural development, what consultancy services do your sector need most?
Thank you so much. This is a very important question. Again, if we're talking about the biodiversity loss, you can see the agricultural rural development probably responsible for the 80%. So for this particular sector, we need to integrate the natural capital investment with livelihood support. So that is the key. So for future, we need to talk about when we develop the rural economy, build up this agricultural production, and also enhances the farmer income. And same time, we also need to protect our natural capital. So in that case, for our wetland protections, for our forest management, we need to integrate it in our rural development, and same time also support this livelihood. So this is the one. The second is for consulting services as opportunity. Again, I just share. We already built up this $2.3 billion pipeline for the natural capital investment. So for future, we can further discuss about the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm afraid I have to close this particular panel discussion. And thank you so much. May I request for a round of applause for our dear panelists who were able to give light to the recent NOM. It's ongoing. And thank you, everyone. May I request also a round of applause for everyone for a very interactive session. And the clap isn't, I think we need, lunch. Okay. I received a note that it's time for us to have lunch to gain more energy and be back at, what time? At 1:45. So everyone, may I request you to have lunch? Okay, let me tell you the different locations wherein you can have lunch in store for everyone. EDR, Executive Dining Room, The Haven, Staff Hub, Starbucks, and Bose Coffee, or the malls around ADB. If you need some help, we have ushers and usherettes here. Me as well, you may check in where your location, where you want to eat, and what do you want to eat. All right, enjoy your lunch. We have 2 parallel sessions in halls 2 and 3 covering opportunities in the energy sector, and hall 4 covering opportunities in agriculture, natural resources, and rural development sector. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your lunch. Thank you so much.